Channa Lloyd, civil rights attorney with the Cochran firm in Florida. Thanks so much for joining us, Channa. After following this case so closely, what's your reaction to today's verdict?
I think my reaction as a Black and brown person in America, I think that this was a step in the right direction. I think that this was needed for the community and for people in disenfranchised communities that have been seeing this every day. As a civil rights attorney who sees these types of videos every day, it concerns me that we needed the perfect storm that was this case to get this type of a verdict. It took the type of witnesses that had to be there, a 911 dispatcher, an EMT, an MMA fighter. It took a child bystander. It took all of these people and these experts to come together to get this verdict. When I see body cam videos from people that have been hurt and abused by officers that haven't passed but have been, disfigured, they've been harmed, we don't get anywhere near this level of justice. So although I feel good that the jury was able to come to a conclusion that was supported by the facts, I think that we need to be mindful that this needs to be a lesson that this is happening. The video is there, and we need to see that reflected in the legal system more often, and not just in cases where we have the perfect set of witnesses and the right experts. So I'm encouraged, but as a civil rights attorney, I definitely am keeping an eye forward on how this actually changes through our legislative and through the laws that are being enacted.
Many have made a lot about the fact that the jury deliberated for only 10.5 hours. Why do you think that they reached this verdict in such a relatively short amount of time?
Whenever we've gone back to poll juries, the first thing they start with is, do we agree that there's innocent or guilt? So here, clearly, they started without having to have that debate. They clearly each individually came in at a certain set place, and then they had to address charges. So I think that's where you see this short time for deliberation. It seems that they had already come in similarly situated with each other's opinions, and then they were going through the charges.
This was, of course, a diverse jury with 5 men, 7 women, 6 white, 6 black or multiracial members. Do you think that the jury makeup may have made a difference here?
Absolutely. I think whenever you're looking at a jury that's as diverse as this one is, and everything from age to race, socioeconomic background, profession, I think what you see is you come to consensuses that are more reflective of the general population, of the environment that we're in, because you have a diverse set of persons that are coming to make this decision. I think it's why it's so important that each person participate in the jury duty process and that they do partake in it, because it is critical to have voices from different backgrounds deciding all manner of cases, especially ones that come down to these types of criminal cases and civil rights violations.
Walk us through what happens next during the sentencing phase, and how much prison time do you think that Chauvin might get?
Well, now what we're going to see is we're going to see the state arguing for what they've already requested, which is an upward departure. Essentially, what they would like to see is these aggravating factors that they've laid out, the fact that this crime was perpetrated in front of a minor, the fact that it was perpetrated by someone who had a higher duty, a fiduciary duty, and was in a position of trust, the fact that he was in a position of vulnerability, he was handcuffed. You're going to see them argue and write this brief addressing why these factors should cause for an upward departure of the time that we've been talking about. The maximum sentence that the judge could award would be 40 years. It's going to be at the judge's discretion, because Chauvin had the right to have a jury determine, but he waived that right and gave it to the judge. So we'll see the judge make a determination on how much more time. Do I think we're going to see a max penalty? I don't think so in this particular case. Judge Cahill seems to be fair, and he seems to be a little bit more even-handed. So I think you are going to see a departure, but I don't think you'll see the max penalty.
And lastly, as a civil rights attorney, what impact, if any, do you think that this verdict could have on policing in America and accountability for police officers?
I think, and I think and hope that this brings a lot more attention to training, to hiring, to paying attention whether these type of infractions have happened and how they're treated once it's happened. When we have an officer that has an excessive use of force, that should demand something different. I also hope to see that this also impacts the laws surrounding police immunity and how they're treated when there are these levels of infractions. This is something that I think we'll see changes. I think it also brings change to law enforcement in and of itself. The ability for officers to stand together with one another, with other good officers, because we have plenty to say, these actions are wrong and I will not stand by it just because we share the same badge. I think that's going to be vitally important as we go forward, looking at these cases and the effects overall coming from this case.
Channa Lloyd, we thank you so much for your time tonight, your insight throughout the trial.
Thank you, Lindsay.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.